If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. With all the insanity going on in the world, I want to make sure that we don't forget about biometrics. Biometrics is going to be how this is all done with the digital payments. People think, well, we're going to go cashless, we're going to digital, but they don't get past the fact of thinking like, well, it's like PayPal. Well, it's like we're already digital because we do everything online. They don't understand that it has to do with it being inside of your body. And literally, we're in the middle of an experiment taking place. And if you recall, when I talked about Stephen Colbert talking about blockchain and the experiments being done on mice and then making light of it, but bringing attention to it.
News. There's a plan to put Bitcoin in mouse DNA with a genetically engineered virus. Here's the plan. You may know a Bitcoin wallet can only be accessed using its private key. They will buy some Bitcoin, then tie the mouse's value to that Bitcoin by editing the mouse's genetic code to carry the private key that controls the Bitcoin. This manipulation will result in genetically engineering the world's first douche mouse.
That was exactly what we're going to see occur, or should I say we're seeing occur. Now, there's companies out there, if you're not familiar with what biometrics is, that use biometrics already, and they're trying to normalize biometrics, which instead of paying with your phone, right? Like we've talked about the Apple store, or excuse me, the Amazon store, where you could check out, where it just automatically is watching you and all the items are being scanned and put in your cart. You don't even have to do anything. It's just automatically when you pick it up, you know, you're connected that way and you could just walk out of the store. Right? And this is all done through your phone. Well, eventually this is going to be done without your phone because the phone's going to be inside of you. And biometrics is something that is, well, it's something you could use at least to show people how this is going to be done, because biometrics is literally in your veins.
Hello. It's called FingerPay. It works by using a small infrared scanner to detect unique patterns in the veins in a person's fingertips. The information is then linked to a customer's bank details. It's being used for the first time in this supermarket at Brunel University in West London, where large numbers of students are eagerly registering their details.
If there's an easier method of paying and it can reduce queue times and can speed things up, and I'm not having to wait at ATM machines, or I'm not having to rely on having to carry my wallet and my bag and my cash, then that's a win-win from both a student perspective but also from a university perspective.
Fingerprint recognition technology is already widely used on things like mobile phones, but studies show that it's vulnerable to hacking. A simple smear left on a device like this can be easily copied.
But Stala, the British firm behind this reader, devised in partnership with the Japanese tech giant Hitachi, claims vein technology cannot be compromised.
You can't copy it like you can with a fingerprint. It is much, much more secure. And in fact, the numbers we're told are 1 in 3 billionth of a chance that anybody is going to be able to have the same finger vein. So it's pretty secure.
It also requires the finger and the person attached to be alive. Vein scanners are already used to access some high-security buildings. There are now plans to use the technology in many more shops, as well as places that require membership, like gyms or nightclubs, and even football grounds. Another step, or finger to be precise, towards consigning cards and cash to history. Eve Barker, Al Jazeera.
Biometrics
London.
is not by any stretch of the imagination new. It's not something that's just come out. It's been something they've been experimenting with for a few years, for maybe even closer to a decade. But here's an article that just came out this week about biometric payment platform has finger on the pulse with world's first Vein ID enabled vending machines. A Manchester-based fine tech behind the world's first biometric identity authentication and payments platform has struck a partnership with cashless solution experts VMC to create a world first retail vending technology where users can pay and prove their age through a simple scan of their finger. Now, as you saw in the clip, right, people using their fingers or possibly using their palms. We've seen the palm stuff before. That what people don't seem to understand is that this has to do with not just a chip being inside of your body, potentially what we're seeing right now is something being inside of people's veins. And it's worth noting that Apple has a patent on this, and big tech companies are working on this type of payment being the next type of payment platform. But in order to get there, because they have the technology, one, people have to be willing to put something in their body, but they need to do mass experiments to see if this can work. But before even that point, they need to figure out a way to transition people into this. And that is why you see this with everything getting closer and closer to the body. That's why I constantly am talking about how technology is getting closer and closer and closer to being inside of you. That's why it's important to know those things. Recently I talked about the iPhone, how the newest iPhones are going to be contact lenses. Like for those of you that saw the new Batman movie, Batman in the movie uses the contact lens, which will be normalized. They're going to start using movies and things like that to make it look cool, to normalize it. Like I said, they're using interfaces in movies. They have for a couple of years now, where they're showing the actual phone on the screen as the movie's going on, and the texting on the screen, and all that type of stuff. And of course, I've talked about Pokemon Go and how you're seeing it in real time right in front of your face by holding up the phone in front of your face. Well, eventually the phone will be gone and it'll be in you. So we have all this technology that's getting closer and closer and closer to being inside of people's bodies. And at the same time, we have millions upon millions of complete zombies that we live amongst who have no problem being part of this science experiment, and they will continue to do so as they continue to be told to do so because they don't think for themselves. So FineGo's vein mapping technology works by taking a simple scan of a person's unique vein pattern through an infrared device. The scan is connected to a person's registered FineGo account, which can be linked to their verified ID or a digital wallet to enable payments. Registered users can then scan their vein to prove identity age or make payments in any venue offering the FineGo system, right? So there'll be a universal system like this, because remember, this is all going to be one, and countries are going to experiment with their own specific companies that they choose to do the experiments with. These will probably be companies that are funded by the government. In America, I'm sure this experiment will be done with our big tech companies like Apple, possibly Microsoft, places like that, when they try to get to the point where they say, hey, this isn't going to freak people out. This will make, people are going to think that this is cool and this is normal and this is the next step. So that's why it's so important not just to crash the economy, destroy the dollar, but to get people now thinking past PayPal, past digital transactions online. Because when people think of that, they think of a digital wallet. Well, digital wallets at some point in the near future are also going to be extinct because they don't want it to be a digital wallet. They don't want you to think of it as a wallet that's just online. They want you to think of yourself as being the wallet. Think of yourself as being the actual currency. That the currency is you, that you can go and you can do these things without holding anything, without thinking about anything, like as far as a credit card or a digital wallet and stuff like that. That'll all be passé at some point. And this will all be inside, again, of your body. So in 2020, Manchester City Council was the first in the world to approve FineGo to verify age in licensed premises, so customers could pay and prove their age for a pint with their finger. The partnership will also explore sustainability projects through reverse vending schemes, allowing users to collect and recycle empty containers, collecting points or rewards along the way. Of course, those are ways that they lure people in, right? Get your, bonuses, collect points, collect rewards by trying these things out. It's a way to get people in. Oh, no AP, you don't have to pay any, transaction fees. You don't have to pay any interest, right? Those are ways where things that we've seen even recently with places like Visa. Last year, Visa deciding to have a crypto card, right? Coming out and just saying, hey, there's no interest rates and all that stuff. Those are ways to lure people into their new tech. And we even see now with iPhones and things like that, how cheap everything is getting, because they want everybody to have phones, because I mean, obviously you're not gonna be able to survive in the world. They won't let you without a phone. They're making it impossible online to even have accounts that aren't linked up to cell phones. It's almost like your cell phone is your barcode, your prison number, your prison ID, right? You go and I want to, even with YouTube here, I have to have phone numbers linked to all these channels that I create. And, that's super annoying. But obviously there's ways around that right now, as far as getting phones that, can be destroyed and chucked. But Google, Apple, all these places are going to continue to do that. And that's part of the reason they want you to do that. And they want to make sure you're connected to the technology, and it's making the technology more accessible to people by making it cheaper. Right? iPhones used to be $1,000. Well, the last couple of days they've come out and they said, hey, there's cheaper iPhones. They're, $100, $200. They want to make the prices lower because they want to make sure everyone has it, right? The same thing with the television. The television in the beginning was really expensive. They made the prices for it really low because they said, hey, everybody needs to have one in their house. We can't make it so that people can't afford a television, because how are we going to mind control them, right? So they made the prices cheap so that everybody could own a TV. Otherwise, you think a TV could be, and of course there's TVs that are thousands and thousands of dollars, like big TVs or whatever people end up getting, projectors and things like that. But they want it to be accessible so that people, can have this tech in their house so that they can use it to brainwash them. But you would think maybe, why is a TV not the same price of a car? And somebody say, well, it's more parts and all that stuff. Well, they don't care if you have a car or you don't have a car. They don't really care if you end up going to work or not, but they want to make sure that they have control over you, and having phones and television sets and computers and all those things are a way to do that. So the biometric vein scanning is something that needs to be monitored, because the more experiments that start coming out with this, that we see coming out using this type of technology, the closer we will be to some type of rollout from a big tech company using this. Now, the question is, well, how in the world could they do that? Like I said earlier, with blockchain and getting this technology inside. Why do you think that they're running experiments? And trust me, they're running them on humans. But the fact that Stephen Colbert and these people bring it up and bring humor to it is to deflect off of it, because humans would start saying, "Wait, what? They're doing this in a human? They're doing this in a lab rat? I don't understand. Why would they be doing it?" Well, because sooner or later, this is what is going to be going on, and this has everything to do with the mark of the beast. This has everything to do with them having full control over your body and over you. And that's what we're headed towards with the Great Reset. There's a reason that the World Economic Forum, they talk about a cashless society. They talk about destroying capitalism. They talk about having the type of technology to go cashless, okay? And they're not just talking about your cell phone, because you will be your cell phone. So this is a company that's running experiments on it. This article just came out this week, and it's been going on for quite some time. So if you weren't aware, I hope you're aware now. This will be pretty much, look at it as Vein ID, okay? We've all seen, like in Minority Report and stuff like that, we've seen in futuristic movies where people use either retina scans with their eyes, or they use a scan where they hold their hand up, right? Or, people even now have technology in their home where they use fingerprints. I think Apple even offers that on their computers. Obviously, people have safes. Some of their safes, you can put your finger on. Well, this is literally going to be inside your veins. And I can vaguely remember something recently they tried to get inside your veins. You don't think they're correlated with one another? Of course they are. Of course they are. And speaking of that, on my website at callfornuprising.com, I highly recommend you guys subscribe. We got a surprise while all this is going on in the world. They are quietly rolling out another one. That's right. So you can find that video on my website. It's a lot of great stuff going on over there. Hope to see everybody over there. I want to thank all the Patreons. Because of you, it keeps me here on YouTube. So thank the Patrons for their support if you haven't already. I personally want to thank them. And thank you guys all for your support. Please thumbs up the videos if you can. I hate to ask for that. I always used to say, I don't understand why people do that, if it's some type of like ego thing, but then you realize that the only way the algorithm will even consider sharing your videos is by thumbsing them up before they find out, who the channel is, and then they shadow ban you. But that's a way to help as well. And of course, watching the ads and things like that does help the channel. So thank you guys for your support. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families.